Hello, Biology 1A. I hope you're having a great day today. The purpose of this video is to give a brief introduction of the next lesson that you will be assigned, Lesson 0202, Microscopes. So first thing you're going to do is get into your Buzz platform. You're going to scroll down and click on that Microscopes lesson, 0202. Okay. Also, remember to scroll down to the bottom of that first page and open the biology notebook. You also can find the biology notebook on our Google site as well. So if you click on Module 2 and scroll down to the microscope lesson, there's the biology notebook as well. And if you open it here from our Google site, you can just make a copy of this document for you, or you can download the biology notebook as a Microsoft Word document as well. Okay, so once you have that notes handout open, start reading. Start documenting some notes, some information on what you're learning as you go through this lesson. So here we have an overview of microscopes, and if we look over to our notes page, we've got a few first introductory questions, and then once we come back to the lesson, you'll see that we have 6 slides here that we're going to move through. So we can go to slide number 2. You're going to read a little bit about the knowledge and technology of microscopes, what our first known microscopes looked like, who they were made by, Antoine van Leeuwenhoek, and what the first compound light microscope looked like, developed by Robert Hooke. So again, go back over here to your notes page and do some documenting of some of that first information. Okay, once you have that, then we'll go on to slide 3. And now we're going to go into detail on the light microscope. In a typical biology classroom, that's what we use, compound light microscopes and dissecting microscopes. So here you'll have a tab on the dissecting scope. Maybe some of you have used one of these before. Maybe some of you have used the compound light microscope before. And then they talk just a little bit about resolving power and what that means. So again, go back over to your notes page and document some of that information on the dissecting scope and the light microscope. Okay, then once we get back to the lesson, we're going to go to slide number 4. And now we're going to compare electron microscopes. I've been fortunate enough in my lifetime one time to use a scanning electron microscope. It was pretty cool. I used it at Ivy Tech College in Lawrenceburg, so that was pretty awesome. But anyway, you are going to read about how electron microscopes work, how transmission electron microscopes operate, and then scanning electron microscopes. And then go back to your notes page and then document some of that information on those types of microscopes. Okay, and then we are going to go on to slide 5. Here you have a little bit of comparison. There's a picture that you'll click on here, and you have a little comparison between the different types of microscopes. And then once we get to slide 6, on here you actually have a little virtual activity on here. This is not an activity that you're going to turn in for a grade, but this activity, there may be some questions on the assignment that you have to do, that you do have to turn in that come from this activity. Okay, so here it says, click on this link to view the instructions to the microscope activity. It says, for this assessment, you will complete a virtual microscopy activity. You will get a chance to compare the structure and function of 4 types of microscopes: a dissecting microscope, a compound light microscope, a scanning electron, and a transmission electron microscope. It says, be sure to use the guided notes activity sheet. Explore the different types of microscopes in the following activity. Take careful notes using the guided notes activity sheet, and then use your guided notes activity sheet to complete the actual assignment. The actual assignment that you're going to turn in this time is a multiple choice, 5 multiple choice questions, I believe. So, all right, so we will close that. Now with the virtual activity here, it says Introduction to Microscopy. You're going to select any one of these microscopes, and you're going to fill in the guided notes sheet. for this little activity. So the guided note sheet, I needed to open it right here. It's just a little table that you're going to compare some information for the 4 types of microscopes that we find here. So I have also put a copy of that guided note sheet over here on our website, so you can read the introduction or the instructions here, and then the guided notes activity sheet is here. Please remember, like I had mentioned before, this is not a gradable assignment. The gradable assignment, if you read here, the gradable assignment is 5 multiple choice questions. Okay, but you want to make sure you're taking notes on your biology notebook page. You want to make sure you're taking notes on this guided notes activity sheet so you can use those notes to answer that those 5 multiple choice questions. Okay, so once you fill out some of the information in the guided notes sheet, okay, you'll have the type of microscope, what it's most useful for viewing, limitations of that scope, the microscope works by how, and then describe in detail describe the detail that can be seen underneath the microscope. So if we go back here to the activity, if we click on the dissecting scope, there's all sorts of parts that you're going to roll over. So there's some general information on the side, and then you can drag, rather not drag, but click on these items to pretend to view the leaf underneath the dissecting scope, the feather underneath the dissecting scope, and the insect underneath the dissecting scope. So continue to go through each type of microscope, document that information in the microscope guided note sheet, and then you're going to document that information. You can transfer it over to your regular biology notebook as well. Okay, there's a few two practice questions here for you in the biology notebook. Okay, once you have done all that and you feel you have learned as much as you possibly can about microscopes, what we're going to do for your actual gradable assignment is you're going to go to the O2 microscopes assignment. You're going to click on start and you're going to get those 5 multiple choice questions. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this activity. I love working with microscopes. I wish you could use the real thing in a classroom, but unfortunately this is what we have. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed this activity. If you have any questions, make sure you let me know. Bye guys.